Jeez. Hello everybody, welcome back to Reviews That Don't Matter with Jessica Hitt. My name is Jessica Hitt, and this is a review that doesn't matter. So sorry, it has been so long since my last reviews, but it was the Christmas weekend, and then I got sick for a very long time, and now I'm finally feeling better. So here we are. You had The Force Awakens yesterday, and now it is the Rogue One non-spoiler review for you. I love Rogue One. I love this movie. I think it is a beautiful one-off movie that doesn't feel the need to have a sequel or a prequel to it, because it was kind of a sequel and a prequel. A sequel to the prequels and a prequel to the regulars, which are the sequels, I guess. When I first came out of Rogue One in the theaters, I thought this is my favorite movie of the year, and it's also my favorite Star Wars. And now that I've had some time to think on it, I still think it's my favorite movie of the year. I wouldn't say it's my favorite Star Wars movie, but I would say it's the top 3 of my favorite Star Wars movies. I think Rogue One was a really smart move on Disney and Lucasfilm as being the first anthology, because it does tie in so well to the entire universe. I mean, you see, of course, Darth Vader's in it, which everyone knows by now, and then you also, it's a perfect tie-in to A New Hope, and a lot of people are saying that, I mean, you watch Rogue One and immediately go home and watch A New Hope afterwards. It just expands the story, which I do agree. I think that it adds a lot to A New Hope, and I think that it makes me like A New Hope better now. Because, you know, at the end of A New Hope, when they destroy the Death Star, it's because of these people that you meet in Rogue One, the people that are so likable. And that's where I think I like Rogue One the most, is because of the characters. I really, really enjoyed these characters. And they might not be the most developed of characters, are not going to be like Rey or Finn or Poe Dameron in Force Awakens, because you're not going to spend 3 movies with them. It's not needed to actually get so in depth with them, but still, with not knowing much about this core group of people, I cared so much by the end of the movie about them. I really did. I cared more about the end of this movie, which I will not spoil, than I did at the end of The Force Awakens when a main character dies, which I already talked about. Harrison Ford dies in that movie, Han Solo. He gets killed by his kid, Kylo Ren. But I didn't feel anything when Han Solo died. I didn't. But I feel stuff for these characters that I'm never gonna see again, because we're not gonna... Rogue One doesn't need a sequel or a prequel. It'd be very hard to do one, first of all. But starting with the 2 main characters of Cassian and Jyn Erso, played by Felicity Jones, who I adored in this movie. I think that she is probably the female character I would relate to most, and I don't even know why. I obviously have nothing in common with this person, but there was something about her that I really connected to that was different than maybe Leia or Rey or even Padme. She very clearly had these flaws that just like were glaring through the whole movie, because she really just cared about herself and she didn't want to get involved in this war. It wasn't her war in her mind. And then Cassian calls her out for it. Because it is everyone's war, whether or not you want to be in it or not. And especially in that moment of the movie, in the end of the 2nd part, beginning of the 3rd part, where they're all in the plane as a group, and there was that outburst between Cassian and Jyn. I thought it was a very powerful moment. I loved it. I thought that it was, even though we still don't know much about these characters, it was so well earned, I thought. What I've seen mostly from reviews is a lot of people think that the beginning is a little slow or the middle is a little slow. I really enjoyed both of those parts. And then obviously everybody's raving about that 3rd act. The last hour of the film is one of the best in cinema history, I would say. I think it was, I can't believe how they put that together. Even with the reshoots, it's so flawless and seamless, and you care so much about these characters, and you know how it's gonna end, because obviously you've seen A New Hope. Like, you know that they get the plans to the Death Star, and it gets somehow to Leia, and that's what begins the whole thing where R2-D2 and C-3PO end up on Tatooine, where they meet Luke Skywalker, and all of this stuff happens because of this. And it's just, it's so interesting to see how it happened. Plus you get a lot of that rebel leader. You see Mon Mothma in it, you see Bail Organa, which is a really, really great nod, especially because it's the same actor, because he didn't appear in the first one because he died on his planet when it was blown up by the Death Star in A New Hope. But you know him from the prequels. And then you have someone like Krennic, who's played by Ben Mendelsohn, who is one of the finest actors out there right now. I think that he is gonna have a huge career, and he has an Oscar with his name on it somewhere in the future. I believe that, I really do. Even if he did sign on to be the villain in the new Robin Hood film when nobody needs a new Robin Hood film. Anyway, Krennic, I thought, was a really great villain because he was just like so ambitious and driven, and you saw this really interesting power grab between him and Tarkin, who Tarkin obviously has the upper hand and he knows that he's in the position and that Krennic will never get there, but Krennic wants it so bad and it's so obvious and the flaws are so there, and I love characters who have flaws just written all over them but you still like them. Even though Krennic is a villain, I still like him. Kinda, you know? And then there's the Tarkin of it all, and a lot of people, let's just say this, think that the CGI Tarkin, because obviously the actor is no longer here, he has passed away long ago because he was in that original thing, the original 3 movies, and they CGI imposed him into the movie, and a lot of people are saying that it took them out, that it wasn't needed, that he was in a lot of it. I don't personally think that. I was really impressed with the CGI. I mean, it's just crazy that we can do something like that these days. I do think that he was maybe in it a little too much. If he was maybe had like 2 less scenes in it, I don't know if it would have gotten to as many people, because when he first turns around he's like that, you're like, holy shit, that's actually really cool CGI. And it looks just like him, it sounds like him, and you know, you kind of get to watch that, and then every time he turns around you're like, oh yeah, CGI Tarkin, CGI Tarkin. To me it didn't really matter, to a lot of other people it did. But I was really impressed. I think there is one CGI character at the very end that was completely unneeded and not very well done, but I think that due to the recent events with what's happened in the Star Wars universe recently, and I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil that end of the movie, because this is a non-spoiler review, it's still very nice to see, and it's a nice send-off. That's what I'm going to say on that matter. Overall, I just really love this movie. I came out of it so excited, and so like, it felt like the original trilogy, but made with modern technology, which to me made it a little bit better, obviously, because it's more believable, and it doesn't have really fake like laser fights. I just really loved Rogue One. I thought it was fun, exciting, heartbreaking. It made you care about the original trilogy so much more. It just added so much depth to this universe where it's like, how can you add any more depth? It's so deep already. I just really loved Rogue One, and I can't wait to see it again. It's a movie that I would buy and own and rewatch and rewatch and rewatch, which doesn't happen a lot for movies. Hey everybody, that is the end of my Rogue One, A Star Wars Story review that does not matter with Jessica Hitt. I'm Jessica Hitt. Thank you for watching. If you've liked my Star Wars series, comment, subscribe, do all of that stuff. And guess what? It's not over. I started watching Star Wars Clone Wars on Netflix, and I will be reviewing each season starting next Monday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So tune in for that. Tomorrow, you are going to be seeing my most anticipated movies of 2017. There's so many coming out that I'm excited for. It is a top 10. A lot of people like those things, so hopefully you'll like mine. Okay, that's it. You know, do all of the stuff, like, comment, subscribe, share. Yeah, bye.